Welcome to Bubble Tea Time, where we spill the tea on last week's games and set the table for this week. I'm your host, Adam, aka Digital Feeling, and I want to thank you all for joining us once again. We are joined by our full cast of Brian, aka Decadunu, Colin, aka Zoidberg MD, and Daniel, aka Dans. Welcome again, analysts.
What's up?
Hello.
Good to be back after my absence last week.
Very much, Mitch. A little bit low energy. You didn't need have the banter that we usually have without you, Colin. So welcome back.
Don't worry, True Heart Destiny sucks. MBS is winning. Easy peasy. Let's go.
Easy
Fair enough.
peasy, he says.
And then we are joined by Teddy, aka Not Drunk. Thank you so much, Teddy, for joining us.
AKA
Thank you
True
for
Damage
having
Teddy.
That's me.
True Damage Teddy, with that sweet jacket.
Thank you.
Ready.
Thank you.
It's a great jacket.
It's
I was
really
actually
good.
changed from a recent one. By someone on this panel, I won't say who.
And as
Blair.
On a scale of like 1 to 10 gallons, how much product did you put in your hair today?
0. It's all natural. I literally woke up like this.
Natural,
maybe
baby.
an hour ago. I did.
Sus.
Sus, a little sus.
Yeah, definitely sus.
When you got hair genes like me, you don't need no product.
Oh. Fortunately,
Yeah,
I'm like
fair,
a hair
fair.
boy. But Twitch, thank you. If you have any questions for us, our producer will give on over. After we do predictions, we'll answer a couple of questions. We are gonna have a little bit shorter of a format this week, so any questions, go ahead and ask them. We'll try to get to them. And with that, let's go straight into our recap, which is first one being the Acid Rabbits versus Second Breakfast with an Acid Rabbits victory. And let's roll that clip.
Yeah, throughout the series, it was just Acid was getting slow and incremental wins, and just getting ahead little by little. Notably, Barry Allen on the Blitzcrank for both games was playing really, really well, landing hooks in the bot lane and snowballing his lead.
Yeah, if anything, it was a little bit more than incremental. I feel like the bot lane kind of took some really big leads,
Yeah.
got a bunch of random kills and stuff like that, and that kind of snowballed its way into oblivion. So, yeah, a lot of big plays coming out from the whole team, but especially Barry Allen in the bot lane, just opening it up real fast.
Yeah, and to be fair to Second Breakfast, they were running a sub in their bot lane for that game. But still, yeah, I felt like it was. I was expecting a closer series than it turned out to be.
It's a very different Second Breakfast from the Good Boys fight they had the other week. Way different, actually. But having that sub, I agree, with Shashu Ramen as the support, and then having Daniel, aka Mooney like Yumi, as ADC was. I'm not really sure how they came up with that. If it was just a better sort of lane. But what did y'all think about having Daniel switch to ADC versus staying support?
Mm, I
I
feel
mean,
like they.
sorry.
I feel like they just wanted to try something. Like, they felt pushed after their first game, and they felt like they needed something a little more spicy in order to try and get an edge.
Yeah, and I just feel like they knew their backs were up against a wall with a sub. They clearly didn't have the same chemistry that they've built up all season, and so they tried to spice it up, tried to mix it up, see if it would work, and it didn't. And I'm sure they'll be at full strength for their next match. That's the beauty of being in the upper bracket, right? Like they get another opportunity, even though they dropped the ball here.
Something I found strange, and I'm gonna see if maybe Teddy you could comment on this. Um, Second Breakfast did really well last week, like super well. Fire Knight not being there, despite generally the bot lane not doing exceptionally well. It felt like just such a different team. How do you feel about like team cohesion, especially this late in like playoffs? What can it do to a team? Things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with having subs like in playoff season is I don't think is the right like it's just a big disadvantage after having playing an entire like series together. And especially when you have like someone like Barry Allen, it kind of shows, right? It shows that when they don't have that cohesion bot lane, he not just supported bot lane, he supported the rest of his map. He was able in that clip, you're able to see him go straight into Brian. What are you laughing at? He was able to go straight into like the jungle to support his the jungle ganks. They're able to get more pressure off their like already like pretty solid jungler as it stood, and so that all kind of just stemmed from a like a domino perspective, domino effect from their bot lane just not having the same cohesion that they had in the pre-series.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point to be made that like even in the last series they played against GB, they had a sub in their bot lane too, like their support sub. It was Tommy, but Tommy was able to kind of like get on map and make a lot of plays. And even though they sacked their bot lane, even against the GB series, Tommy was able to like roam to mid lane, get involved in a bunch of jungle skirmishes with Misa. So yeah, definitely did a lot outside of the lane. I think like in that sense, he was probably just like more in tune with the general game plan from SB than the bot lane from SB was in the AR series. And so like, yeah, I think cohesion and synergy, especially this late, is definitely a big deal. But sometimes it's just like even with the sub, it's just like how in tune they are to like what your team wants to accomplish. And it looked like Tommy was like the key, and when they reverted back to the original bot lane, maybe not so much, or closer to the original bot lane, I guess switching out, putting back in Mooney, who is like I think a more critical member than Zayn was on the team. But then replacing Zayn with Chashi Rame just didn't seem to have the same kind of like team impact as Kadeku had in the same team.
It was an interesting match. Unfortunately for SB, they go down to the lower bracket. Um, And then we have our other match, the Good Boys versus Milwaukee Bucks, baby. With a Milwaukee Bucks win. I thought this series was phenomenal. Let's go ahead and roll the clip and let's discuss it a little bit.
Running the lower bracket, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Making the run for it.
Mhm.
I mean, this series I think was mostly Milwaukee Bucks taking advantage when they felt like they could. Particularly their bot lane got really ahead. Chia Snacks was just a beast on both their winning games on Morgana and Rakan. And even in the loss, she still looked like a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think like Elena played really well both games. Yeah, like super well in the first game on Morgana. It's like an MVP performance. Yeah, I think like that and the Raskatug like Galio game were like two of the biggest standout games in the playoffs so far. So super impressive. And then even in like the second game where they lost and she had a Nautilus and a Morgana matchup, she like looked like the biggest playmaker on her team and the only reason her team was like even sort of in it. So like I think any team that runs into MVP in the lower bracket needs to have their bot lane in shape. If they don't, then I think it's just kind of game over from the start. Yeah, I think also there is something to be said about like every team that has dropped down from the winners bracket so far has been eliminated. So deep dive
Yeah,
in
they're
Milwaukee
eating
Bucks
it up
maybe.
down
Yeah.
there.
Deep dive in Milwaukee Bucks maybe have really made like a tear through the lowers bracket. And I think like teams that are dropping down need to be prepared for teams that are like definitely on the uptick and definitely have some practice series behind them already. Like MBB is already warmed up and ready to go. So if us or NBS drops down, it's definitely going to be something that we're going to have to spend a lot of time preparing for. And MBB is like a super formidable opponent. So nothing's guaranteed even for winner bracket teams.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think we talked about this before playoffs started. Like MVP was our pick to like if somebody from the lower bracket was going to run it all the way, it was going to be MVP, and they're showing why that is. They had a clear like deficit basically, which was that they couldn't close out games, and now it seems like they can. And not only that, but they can play a little bit from behind now. So they're looking really strong, and I definitely do not want to face them, which is why we're going to beat you.
No. That's your point.
Hmm. With that call out once more, Zoidberg prodding THD. Let's go ahead and get on to Dan's stats once again for this week. Dan's, take it away.
So today we've got our notorious Caitlyn players for the NBS and THD matchup. Funnily enough, both Limch96 and Manbutts have played Caitlyn the same amount of times, hence the image we have. For Manbutts, his stats are reflective of the regular season, as we have yet to play, and Limch has his stats from his latest series, from playoffs. And you can see that though Manbutts has a high KDA, the kill participation is significantly less than what Limch has. But then you look at gold per minute and damage per minute, they're pretty close. And I think this bot lane is going to be very, very much a matchup to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's no secret we definitely are playing through our bot lane for kills. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody at this point who's watched any of our games. So it doesn't shock me to see that his kill participation from the last series is way up there. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a really good matchup. I think it's gonna be a really good 3-game series.
Yeah, not
Teddy,
to
on.
downplay any of Lynch's play here, just because. Did you say these stats are only for the last playoffs?
So Limch's is from playoffs and Manbutts is from regular season.
Yeah, because I remember correctly, during the regular season, Lynch, once he came into the team, was instrumental to a lot of their bot lane like successes. He performed well in almost every single game, especially when he got Caitlyn. And he's been showing that even in the playoffs as well, even though the KDA may not be around the same. But hey, like the gold per minute and the damage per minute, I would say is pretty much equal for that. And it could be even more if you look at the previous stats.
True.
So on paper, Teddy, who do you think is going to win out this lane? Just between the two, as skill wise.
I will have to go with bot or bot lane. Of course, bot lane is the one. Lynch and his lane. Just because from what I've seen, in my opinion, I've just seen like stronger play from both the support, and also the ability to have like a jungler that has been performing really well and establishing pressure throughout all three lanes as well has been like really key to their success bot lane.
Wonderful. And let's go right into our prediction, which is going to be THD versus MBS with 2 votes for MBS, 3 votes for THD. Let's go.
Yeah.
Colin, make the defense, brother.
I mean, I'm gonna defend my own team here. We are a grand total of 5-1 when we've had our full squad. We have lost 1 game, and that was to Raskatrug's Galio, which is, as Brian has said, one of the best games of the playoffs so far. So if that's what it takes to beat us, somebody going completely off and having the best game of the playoffs, I think we're in a pretty good shape.
Yeah, I'd counter by saying if there's any team where people can go off, it's our team. We have a lot of people that are very prone to going off.
What, are you saying the
So,
person
we'll
with
see
the
how it
highest
goes.
KDA in the league is on your team? Is that what you're trying to explain?
No, I'm saying the first, second, and third highest KDAs on our team.
Hello.
But yeah, I think like it'll be a good series. Like, I think full stop. I think like the top 3 are AR, THD, and NBS in some order. So I don't think there's really, yeah, I don't know. Like, there's no more we necessarily can prepare for NBS because we've been preparing and we're like, we view y'all as like formidable opponents. Maybe I'd even put MBB up into that echelon too because they've been looking pretty solid. Deep dive, we'll have to see. I don't think they're like fully tested yet, but I think this. I don't know if the SB series will be a good test. I think to be honest, like, wait, did we get to predictions? Are we predicting deep dive SB today? Because I think I'll predict deep dive.
We did
But
not predict it today, but
oh
we
really?
can.
Okay, well,
We could go
hold on
gut
to that
feeling
one then.
now.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
well,
we can call it out.
Well, all right, we'll do
Yeah.
it when we hit the prediction slide because we do have one prediction.
Mm.
Or that was it, actually. Yeah, so never
Yeah,
mind. Deep dive is probably my prediction. I do think they'll be tested though once they hit the other 4. So like once they hit like AR, THD, NBS, or Milwaukee Bucks, maybe I think that's where the real test will be.
Yeah.
And if they win out on that one or like look competitive in those and like move on, like I think that they're legit like top 3 or whatever too. But yeah, I think like it'll be a pretty hard road for all the teams remaining, and like going through NBS is not going to be easy for us. So
Yeah. I mean, I think we can be honest. When AR chose Second Breakfast to face, both me and you message each other, very disappointed that that they did not pick us. So
you
yeah,
wanted
it's
them.
gonna be. Yeah, we wanted to pick Acid Rabbits. You wanted to face Second Breakfast, and didn't happen. So here we go.
Yeah.
One of us will get to face Acid Rabbits next week. Hopefully, it's us. Yeah, it should be pretty good. I think I'll probably pick Second Breakfast. I do think Second Breakfast is a good team, and I think as long as they get their like full squad back, I'd predict them over Deep Dive.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll see. Next
I'll-
week we'll be making the real predictions, and then maybe I'll change my mind.
I would
Then.
like to remind you, Colin, that Deep Dive's only win was against Second Breakfast. So,
That does not change my opinion.
not to mention the prophecy.
In the
Yeah,
regular season, at least.
prophecy might change my opinion, but
Teddy,
but
do you
I-
think for THD versus MBS, do you think it's going to be 2-0, 2-1, do some silver scrapes? Is it going to be close, or do you think that either of these teams, if they get the first win, are just going to run away with it, or one that's more likely to just run away with it?
I think that, let's see here. MBS is coming from a 2-1 win. They've been having it close so far throughout the league. But True Art Destiny also has cohesion. They have good cohesion, but they definitely have to get that together. We're really far into the league, and people are kind of getting tired and played out, if you might say. And really getting back into the right mindset of how they're performing throughout the league, in the preseason, will be key to them winning. And I just think they'll be able to pull it together. We're in the final areas. These are the final 5, 6 teams. This is it. This is the playoffs. will bring it together, and they're going to take it to. I think they're going to take it to a win, but I don't think it'll be a 2-0. I think it'll be a 2-1.
Yeah, I do think it's worth pointing out as well that I don't believe True Heart Destiny has actually played a league match in 3 weeks.
I mean, official
It's definitely been a
BTL
while.
match.
Yeah, official BTL match, yes.
Yeah.
Well, if they've been using that rest time well,
But we'll find out, right?
yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, we've definitely been on like a bumpy path, but we're hoping by the time Tuesday runs around, we'll be back on our grind and as strong as ever, hopefully.
Rest is important.
Mhm. Let's go ahead and with that, let's go on to some questions. See if we have any from our reducing. It doesn't seem that we do. Um, anybody want? Let's open up the discussions real quick. I'm really curious on how how MBS is going to train up. So we've seen THG do a lot of training, lots of scrims, things like that. Colin, are you just like confident? Like, are you ready? Are you ready to continue to prove that, or is it still a little shaky, or is just the cohesion just so strong?
I mean, I think we're confident right now. Not that necessarily that we can beat THG, because THG is a really good team, and we're not gonna be cocky and just be like, oh yeah, we're 100% gonna stomp them. Like me saying that in this, on this show is me messing around and like trying to spark some fun banter back and forth. But we're a confident group right now, and we definitely think that we can compete with THD, and we're aware of the challenge that they pose, but we're excited for it. And yeah, we have a game plan. We're gonna try and execute that game plan to the best of our ability, and yeah, 2 days.
I have a question for Teddy. So, Teddy, you
Shoot.
said you favored Limsh in the bot lane, and yet you voted THD.
I didn't realize that my prediction from before was um
So
as I
are
was
you
looking
changing your
through,
prediction?
I'm not. I'm actually not. I mean, there's gonna be like what I think to be 3 games. I think that it's just gonna be close. Like there are gonna be some games where what I said about bot lane is gonna be true, but like depending on the mindset of either team, like they can get around it. I think at this point it's like mindset. If they have the if you're stuck on tilt like after losing a first game, it's not gonna go well. Like if you're able to untilt, get together and like refresh your mindset for like the next games, it could go either way.
Okay.
I don't think any of these teams tilt though. I don't see THG like in the game tilting their minds out, and I couldn't point to a player on I think either of their teams that would just like shut down. But if one of them does, I think it's more detrimental to THG. I think their cohesion and the way they play and the way they roam together. If one person's off kilter, I think that's just it cascades it much harder versus
Mhm.
I think NBS can play a little bit more individually if someone did have a moment of just tilt,
Yeah. And you can see that actually just in what Brian said earlier. Like they have a lot of pop off, like the high probability of having people just pop off, and that kind of ties and is correlated to just their cohesion, how they're feeling. And I don't mean like tilt, like they just start like feeding a lot, but more so like if you get into like a rut or you just kind of play pretty like autopilot. It's that kind of tilt that I'm talking about, where you're just like running through the motions and not really thinking about how to like win a game, how to like get your objectives to the right place and like how to position correctly and like on a grand scheme of things. When you get into that autopilot kind of mode, we're just essentially following orders or something like that, then it's just not going to bode well for a highly competitive series like this.
A question from Javier for Teddy. Do you try to be beautiful or does it just happen?
Thanks, Javier. This is why I am his e-girl. Apparently, he gives me
Cool.
skins. I don't really try, I guess.
Oof, imagine if you did.
Yeah, damn.
I don't want to.
That's,
It's not something I want to like, index on. I
I
like
think if
to
he tried,
like to prove things with things that are not, that require some effort.
So like you're like at a like 8, 9, and to go to a 10, it would take effort, and you just like don't want to put that into the world. Don't want to just make everyone jealous. I
It
get
would
that.
be
I respect
better
that.
if I
I went
could use
to
something that was helpful to everyone.
I went to college with Teddy, and when he tries, all havoc breaks loose. I think this is for the greater good.
Yeah, no need to try. It is I'm
I
I'm
think
in a happy relationship, so we're good. Just gotta try on that instead.
I
Different
think
kind
if
of effort.
I think if he did try, we would just shut off all of our webcams and just let Teddy sit there.
Not even speak.
Honestly, our views would go up.
Then I should probably plug my Twitch channel. That's gonna be
Yeah.
live in who knows how long.
This is something I'm also a little bit curious about. I may be totally off base with this, but I did want to get your feedback. I want to talk about the ages that we have in BTL. Uh, you know, most of us are what, in our late mid 20s for the most part.
Yeah, I think I'm the grandpa of the league, actually.
Yeah, I hope so.
How old are you, Colin, if you don't mind saying?
I'm 29. So Javi just said he's 30. So Javier is older than me, but I'm 29. I turned 30
Yeah.
in.
Isn't
3 months.
Misa 30? I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
Misa-
I think Misa's a year younger than me, I believe.
He's a
I mean,
year
Dan
and a
would
half
know.
older, so he should be 30 this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
middle age.
Javier, Glenn would be the oldest, but he is a sub. So,
Eh.
but yeah, Glenn,
Wow.
Glenn, I believe is 34. Oh no,
Sig-
Scott is the grandpa. Scott is older than me.
Little Muffin?
Yeah, Lil Muffin's older than me.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I just find it so interesting. The reason why I bring this up is that we're all a little bit older, a little bit more, mature in a lot of ways. And then we see like LCS, like you have such young players and things like that, right? And there's just such a difference in style and I think motivation. I think especially like a lot of us are like, or a lot of the league is professionals as well. So like I think a lot of people are in college, have long-term jobs. I know a lot of people have like full-time jobs even during these Corona times. I'm just so interested like how much time people are put into this league, uh, despite it just being a for fun league, especially during Corona. Being a little bit older, and I think that's an interesting part about BTL. If anyone was curious in just watching.
Yeah, and I think, like when we if we bring it back to like the very start, like we've had multiple meetings and stuff on this like in the past, but like in the very start of the season we had like an orientation, and we had a retro at the end of last season. We talked about like, hey, like what are our goals as a league, and one of our biggest goals was like, yeah, we want to like improve and have like semi-competitive games and stuff like that, but like we really just wanted like positivity, like people should be nice to each other, and like people should look to make each other better regardless if you're on like the same team or not. Like yeah, and there is like a ways to go there still. I think that there are things that we will retro again and things that we will fix, but like I do think like in a world where coronavirus is so prominent and like things are so fucked like all around us, it's nice to have people like be on the Discord and want to scrim with each other and make each other better and have fun together and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think like in the end, like that's what we want. Like fast forward, like even when coronavirus is gone, like I want people to just be kind and have fun playing games and have fun like being on teams and have fun like meeting new people and meeting new teams and like like not tear each other down, all that stuff. Like that's what BTL should be about. It's not tearing people down to make yourselves feel better. It's like boosting everybody up with you. So
Very
yeah, I
awesome.
think hopefully it gets better and better.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I really enjoy having a place to be competitive, which I don't get to do very often anymore. And then be like it's just great like getting to hang out with friends, right? Like I now
Anything
know
else we want to cover before we sign off now?
um
Is Colin
Yeah.
still here? Did we lose Colin?
His cam's kind of busted, but he's still here.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear
Yeah.
you. Your cam's just busted.
Yeah, my cam's busted, but you guys can hear me. Yeah, so like I really appreciate there
Okay.
being like a place to like hang out
Any?
with friends
Let's
and like
see.
Mhm.
I would like to highlight that we now have Vision Score for our playoff stats, and
Oh damn.
man, Will has been hounding me about this that his stats haven't been updated yet, and I'm sorry. Been busy. Mostly playing TFT. But they should be updated by Wednesday, I believe, if schedule allows it.
Very awesome. Let's go ahead and get into our bracket recap. And Teddy, who are you feeling that's after you look at this? Who do you think is going to end up in that final two? Who's going to be in that final and maybe ultimately win?
For sure, Acid Rabbits is going to be one of those two. I believe in them. They have a strong team. They perform well both individually and as as the league has been progressing, they've just been better at playing with each other as well, practicing and everything. The second one is a bit harder, but my money's on Milwaukee Bucks, baby. They just have shown like an ability just to like carry from different points of their team, and find like ways to counter the teams that they're playing against. And the more we play, the more the more weaknesses are shown, the more things that they can exploit. I think they're just really good at finding those weaknesses and taking it to the end. But when it comes down to the final two in that final matchup, will they be able to find a weakness in the Acid Rabbits? We'll see. We'll see a really strong support from Barry Allen, really strong support from GS Snacks, and that'll be a lane to watch.
Should be an amazing one. So we have our AR in C1 now, so they're at the top as well. They're going to be facing whoever wins the THG versus MBS game. We still have Deep Dive versus Second Breakfast, and then Milwaukee Bucks are waiting to see what happens with THG versus MBS. Should be really exciting. We're winding down. Only a couple more weeks, probably about a month and a half left in the season. But I want to thank everybody for joining us once again for Bubble Tea Time. Let's go ahead and get to our schedules as well. With I think we only have one schedule so far, which is going to be on Tuesday, which is going to be about 4 days from now at 6 p.m. Pacific. If I'm reading that correctly, yeah. So pretty early game.
yeah, Tuesday 6 p.m. Pacific.
Should honestly be a really great matchup. Really excited to see it. And we kind of went over that prediction, and we only have one game to look forward to, so should be good. I did want to go ahead and thank Brian, Colin, Daniel for bringing analysis once again this week. Thank you all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, man. Love being here. Love having a good time. Love getting to hang out with my friends.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Adam, hosting us every week as you do.
Yeah, much appreciated. And then Teddy, True Damage
True
Teddy,
damage, Teddy.
thank
Yeah,
you
thanks
so
for-
much.
Yeah, thanks for being a thirst trap, Teddy.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
'cause-
having me on.
Yeah, I wonder if this one will be the one where we have like the most views. We should
Oh,
just put that in the
gosh.
title.
I think,
Oh,
I mean, the
no.
title
I
of this
think
video.
your personalities all shine a lot higher than mine does.
But not as shiny as your jacket.
That is
I
true.
think I have to overcompensate for something, right?
And to the Twitch viewers, thank you so much for submitting questions and letting us hang out. For people on the YouTube, thank you so much for watching and hopefully sharing. We'll see you at the games, and we'll see you on the Rift.
Dude, I couldn't stop laughing when Teddy said absolutely at the start of this.